technical hitches and and lighting issues because we need to make sure we're well lit. So, welcome, ladies. Obviously, Sarah, you know already, and we're joined today by the fabulous Lynne, who's looking radiant.
Hi, Lynne.
Oh dear, traumatic start to my afternoon. How are you, Lynne? How are you faring?
Fine, thank you.
Good. And obviously today we're going to chat a little bit about some various topics, and I'm going to let Sarah start and tell us a little bit about talking about patient treatment of cancer during the lockdown. So go. Question one.
Well, as we all know, there's been a lot of changes with COVID-19. My history in knowing Lynne is that we studied together. We did our teaching qualifications, and going back some years, I think it was your 20th anniversary, Lynne, you were first diagnosed with breast cancer. Is that right?
Yes, that's right, yeah.
And at that time, I remember you talked about receiving the information, and you were quite shocked because you were looking to celebrate your anniversary.
Yeah, I was, yes.
And how did you respond when you first heard that news?
Well, I said to the surgeon, she told me the degree of how bad the lump was, and said it would either be a lumpectomy, but perhaps it would have to be a mastectomy. So what would I prefer? And I suppose, a bit flippant, sort of said, oh gosh, I thought I would be choosing between a necklace or a bracelet. So I said, do whatever you want, I suppose, just get rid of it. So, yeah.
Okay, so obviously that was a traumatic time, but you've always been a positive personality. I'm receiving messages today that it's actually Breast Cancer Prevention Week. Now, you recently went on holiday, was it to America?
Yes, that's right, yes.
And I believe the pandemic, the virus, was following you all the way home, is that right?
It was actually, yeah. Wherever we stayed, that's actually where the virus was first found, in Vegas at the Luxor Hotel, where we stayed. And so, yeah, it kind of followed us around, really. So, but anyway, we were lucky enough to be able to leave San Francisco the day that President Trump closed the flights to Europe. So we got one of the last flights out. Very fortunate, yeah.
So did you have delays in getting back home?
No. The only delay was the cruise that we were on. That was delayed by a day due to them not letting people off the cruise ship. And then we had to kind of very quickly get a hotel accommodation, and then everybody had their temperature taken before we got on, but it really went without a hitch. But we were on the last cruise as well. They then shut the cruises down. So we managed to destroy America, I think, really.
So we've got you to blame for the pandemic. You brought it to the UK.
Yeah.
So you'll be pleased to know that my temperature is now being shown on the bottom of the screen as a healthy 36.6. So we're all safe in this household.
Excellent.
I had the test, so I'm clear. I am COVID-free, which is
fantastic. So, Lynne, before you went on holiday, I believe that you'd been to your GP. What kind of symptoms did you present with?
For what?
Going through your recent tests at St James's.
No, it was just a random mammogram.
Okay.
the random mammogram, and happened a few weeks ago, and I was given a date to go, and I actually forgot. I just totally forgot. So then I got another letter, and just pointing out quite rightly that I hadn't turned up, and I had to go on the Friday, and it was the 28th of March that I know, the 26th or something, that I had to go for a mammogram. But then I got called back. I got a letter, I think, that by the next day, and then I had to go to
Seacroft, yeah.
to which I thought that was probably just, I don't know, a random thing. Maybe they do it now and again. Maybe, I don't know. I didn't really think much of it, to be honest. I certainly didn't think the worst. But I went to Seacroft, as I say, at lunch, 1 o'clock on the Friday before we flew, and was there till they closed at just after 5 with all the tests and everything. And that's when they said they'd found something. So, quite a shock, really. Not what I expected. But I was going on holiday the next day, and then they just booked my appointment for when I got back. And but by then, of course, chaos was everywhere. So I just phoned and said, "Well, just tell me the results, because then I don't have to drive to Seacroft."
Mm-hmm.
And they sort of said they'd found something, but they weren't sure, and they were now going to put it before the board, for want of another, all the specialists get together, put it before them and have a discussion, and they'd phone me then on the Tuesday, which they did. And they just said they kind of didn't know. They can't say it is, but they can't really say it isn't, even though they'd taken samples. And I just sort of said, okay. Well, what can you say? I said, okay, now what? And thinking this isn't a good time. They said, oh well, no, it'll have to be removed. So I said, right, okay, and just wait for a letter. And I thought, well, with everything that's going on, I suppose who knows when that will be. And literally, it was within a week.
Lynne, can I ask you a question at this point, Lynne? Sorry to interrupt. Were you more concerned about what you were going through for a second time, considering that the pandemic might affect? Were you more worried, do you think?
No.
Has it affected how compared to last time? Do you think it's had an effect on how your treatment and how the appointments have come and the speed at which it's been dealt with?
Well, the first time happened, I was living in South Africa, so I can't compare the two.
Yeah.
And when it first happened 20 years ago, I was more angry. I was more angry because I had a daughter age 9 who hadn't gone through puberty, and I was really angry. I thought, you can get lost, really, if you think you're going to beat me, because who's going to beat my daughter like I do? There was no way. That I was angry. I'll be honest, I was blooming angry, let me tell you. So yeah, I approached it like that. Do whatever it takes, just get rid of it. I don't care, just get rid of it. This time, I didn't quite believe it. I just thought, well, that can't be right, really, can it? After 20 years, it just didn't make a lot of sense. So, and I still find that hard to come to terms with, to be honest. But the speed at which they worked is phenomenal. I can't, really, I can't thank them enough. It was fantastic. From the surgeon to what was going to happen, it was clearly explained. And
what options were given to you, Lynne, in terms of where you would have your treatment? Were you told about different hospital locations?
Yes, yeah, they phoned, and once I'd seen the surgeon and I saw the surgeon, I think, on about the 12th of April, somewhere around there. And he sort of said, yes, right, your surgery is on the 21st of April. So I said, oh, I thought I'd go get another letter. So I said, right, okay. They said, so unless anything would prevent that happening, you can take that as a given. And we will then phone you, because you obviously have to have your bloods, chest x-rays, and I'd have to have the COVID swab test. So I said, right, okay. And then they said, where did I want to go? Did I want to go to St. James, or did I want to go to Pinderfields? And I chose St. James because I'm there as I have Crohn's disease, so I'm there as that patient anyway. So all my records are there. And I've also had a induction on the other side at St. James. So all my history was there. So I chose to go there. Not had anything against Pinderfield. I just hadn't been in Pinderfields, and I thought it would make sense to go to St. James.
When you actually went to St James's and you saw the consultants after they had that MDT meeting, did you notice a difference in the staff, in how they were dressed, how they presented themselves? It's really to give the outside world a view of COVID-19 and what effect that had.
Well, they were all dressed in, their hospital garments. They all had masks on. It made it a little bit difficult to hear sometimes what they were saying. I had to concentrate, as it were. I think if you've got a diagnosis of perhaps it's cancer, you're not always with it, really, I suppose. I was trying more to concentrate on listening to what they were saying, as opposed to taking it all in. But they were just as kind as they have always been. They're very kind and very caring, and that hadn't changed. The hospital was spotless. Goodness me. Because obviously it's a worry. You think, I don't particularly want to go into a hospital at this time. And there was nobody there. There was just nobody there, just a huge building that was spotlessly clean, with the staff there that were obviously in the particular wards. That was all. But I just thought I can't fault that in any shape or form. The service they gave you was amazing. Even in the waiting areas, they made sure you were sat at a suitable distance. Yeah, yeah, they were very good. Obviously, you had to go alone. When sometimes you want somebody with you, but that didn't particularly bother me, because I'd rather not put anybody else at risk, because you just don't know, do you, what you're going into. So rather that I went on my own. You're just going to listen anyway. But no, the staff were amazing.
So if someone at home found something suspect, be it, I don't know, some change in bowel habits, find a new lump or anything, it could be stroke or heart related, not just cancer, would you encourage them to contact their GP at this time during COVID-19?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. In fact, I go for regular, well, when I say regular, they're every 3 months. I go for my blood's doing and my B12 injection. And at our local GP, you have to ring just like an outside intercom, and they come and open the door. They take you into the room. They take the bloods or give you your injection, and then they escort you back out. You don't see a soul. They time it so everything's a lot quicker. So, yeah.
There is kind of conversations and perceptions out there that people shouldn't go to the GP. They want to stay away from hospitals. Now, I know from colleagues that our GPs that are working from home, they're doing Skype options, Zoom appointments. I want to know how collectively we can encourage people to still reach out to the GPs, because there's been a drop in number of people attending their screenings, their appointments. People that have strokes and heart attacks are still having those. They don't just stop. So how can we encourage people to reach out, pick up the phone and ring the GP like they used to? I put that out to both of you, really.
Well, I think picking up the phone is quite easy. They're certainly not in any danger there. But you didn't see anything at the hospital. You didn't see anything. I didn't see another person other than in the ward. You know, and they're quiet. You know, not all the beds were full where I was, obviously. But wherever patients are that are perhaps, you know, the ones that are suffering with COVID, I don't know where they are. We certainly didn't see them in the area, the next area. There was nobody. You didn't, unless you knew about the pandemic that was actually we're living amongst, you wouldn't know because you didn't see anything.
That's reassuring. So it looks like all of the hospitals have got their own unique setup to protect COVID patients and ensure that the door is always open
Yeah.
for cancer services and things like cardio. So at the moment, you're kind of waiting for the next step. Is that right?
Well, yes, I had the surgery a week ago. So normally after 2 weeks, you would go back for the dressing, removing, and the results. But because of COVID, they asked if I was okay to remove the dressing myself, which, yes, I am. And if I would mind having the results over the phone, which I'm perfectly okay with that. I don't really think it makes any difference whether you go there or they phone you.
There's a lot of pluses, really, isn't there? You've got no mileage, no car park issues, no costs.
Yeah, and have my slippers on.
Fine. If you're not allowed to take someone with you when you go to your appointment because of COVID and they're restricting the numbers, actually you're better off having your phone call because you've got somebody perhaps there that can support you. Going back to your previous question, Sarah, about how do we encourage people? I think what we need to do is to make people aware that actually it's, you know, cancer is still a priority. And the issue, I think, is that in the media, they've really put forward this idea of don't overload the NHS. We need to protect them. We can't give them too much to do. They have this other thing that they need to be working on, which is absolutely true, of course. And the immediate issue is people coming in with those acute symptoms. But we still need to remember that actually cancer and your heart attack and stroke patients are still priority. I don't think the NHS have ever changed that. I think, fortunately, the presentation of that from other avenues means it's been lost. I think the message has kind of got a little bit altered.
Yeah, I think the news is only news at the moment if it's negative, and different channels are using their own slant to make it more newsworthy.
Yeah.
I look at the support group that we run for breast cancer patients. The increase in numbers of people that have been referred shows that people don't want to put a drain on the NHS. So support groups have obviously picked up some of that backlog. And I look at things like exercise and how many of us are not exercising like we would normally do on a day-to-day basis. Just walking to the shop we don't do anymore because we're in the shielding group. I worry about the recurrence rates of cancer because I know through my work with Yorkshire Cancer Research, if we do 150 minutes of exercise a week, which that's 2.5 hours, we reduce the risk of recurrence by 30%.
Yeah.
So I am doing my best, but sometimes I'm losing the eagerness. I'm losing momentum. How have you got on exercise wise, Jim? With gym stuff, Lynne?
I didn't have sex change.
Thankfully.
I cannot see why you can't go for a walk. I know it says don't leave your house for however many, you know what I mean. But I really, I think for your mental health, your overall well-being, as well as the benefits for cancer, it's just so important to just get out there and walk. And people are so aware that people don't come anywhere near you. You know, they don't come anywhere, so you're perfectly safe going out for a walk. Yes, stay away from going inside a supermarket and things like that, definitely, because that seems to be a bit precarious even now. There's people are too close, but I think going for a walk and finding yourself a route that's you know, a little bit away from everyone. I think you should. I think that's beneficial. Really, I do. I think it's beneficial. But what amazed me was the speed with which they found something, and I was in and operated on and out.
That was fast, wasn't it?
It was
You were
very
fast
fast.
tracked.
Yeah, it was very fast, and I was like quite shocked, really. But I think that is better than sitting thinking, well, gosh, I wonder when they'll, you know, get in touch with me and I'll be able to have this surgery, because that's what I thought I would be up against. And I feel that people that have got anything wrong with them, you cannot, in any shape or form, make it better by waiting. You have to
No,
deal with
because
it. You have to deal with it and take whatever comes your way, and you're just going to have to deal with it. But sitting on it and fretting is certainly not going to make it any better.
and COVID-19, once that's over, cancer's still going to be around, isn't it?
Yeah. I did speak to one of the porters while I was in hospital, and I said to him, "Oh, you must be really busy." And he said, "No." He said, "There's staff here." He said, "Nobody's coming." He said, "There's staff here in case it, you know, there's an onslaught of patients sort of thing, but we have to make sure we're fully staffed and ready to go." So I found that commendable, in as much as that they were being proactive as opposed to being reactive when perhaps it's it could be too late, who knows. But there's all the staff there, all in PPE, all fully equipped, everything, and they were just quite frankly amazing. So I can't stress that really you need to get in touch. If you're not well, you need to get in touch. You know, not every doctor and nurse is dealing with COVID-19. They're dealing with others.
Sarah, you know, I mean, at the beginning of this pandemic, we had an awful lot of media coverage about cancer treatments being stopped, being delayed, being put on hold. Do you think that's had an impact on how people are reacting if they have something, because they think it's not going to happen anyway because all of this has been put on hold for the pandemic? I know they're now trying to, as Ali's messaged us, to say there is more coverage, and it does seem to have shifted in this last week. But I think that initial message was perhaps what skewed the thought process.
I think, personal view.
Emma, I would, because I was surprised at the speed at which, because I thought, oh, well, I'm going to be ages because of the coverage that we've had. I'm thinking, well, I'm not even on the list, sort of thing. So really, I'm way down, and it's done and dusted. So yeah, I think the coverage is what put people off, definitely.
I think there's a lot to be said for the media looking at Japan, looking at the whole world stuff before we saw people actually being diagnosed. So it's kind of drama in our faces before we were seeing people with illness. I think the media's got a lot to answer for in terms of how they make a message land.
Yeah.
And it has scaremongered people into staying at home and not engaging with, I've got a symptom. People have had this mental thought process of, oh, I've got a sniffle. Is it hay fever? Is it COVID? And there has been, natural thoughts about what is this. I personally think we need to see more stuff in the news about 302 patients have left Pinderfields today, to date, that are healthy from COVID-19. There's a lot of upset. There's a lot of grieving to go on for those that have passed. And I think really we should be focusing on the positives. From what I'm hearing from you, Lynne, and from a few other patients, is they are being treated. I'm aware of one lady who is having her Herceptin infusions, and rather than go to her local hospital, that's been diverted to Airedale. And she said, do you know what? I drive 20, 30 miles extra. I don't care. I'm still being treated.
Yeah.
And she said, you know what? That's actually a nice hospital. It's better than where I've been. I've got better service. And they're bending over backwards for cancer patients. So I'm hearing really positive stuff.
Yeah.
And I just think that people need to not be afraid of ringing. It's not all doom. You're a success story.
Absolutely.
I look at what we can do to prevent these recurrences, though. The exercise and diet to me is key, because the government and the news alerts, they're not saying, are you eating healthily? What are you doing to keep fit? And all of the stats behind what we've learned when we've been diagnosed are that just do 10 minutes here, just do 10 minutes there. People are becoming locked down and shutting down. And that really worries me for what the NHS will have to deal with afterwards.
Yeah.
When COVID-19 is moved on, it's going to be a case of, how the hell are you going to get a cancer appointment?
Yeah.
You will still be treated, but there will be, who knows what kind of backlog.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like you said, some of that issue could be not prevented completely, but if they were putting that more of a positive message to exercise and look after the nutrition, the recurrence rate, as you said, would be limited. So that would take some pressure off. And it's almost, to me, like it's a really strange way of going about it, because they're accidentally putting the pressure on the NHS that we're getting a message to avoid doing. And I think personally, with the exercise, we do within our group, we do exercise on, regularly, and support each other and encourage each other to do it. We have that as an advantage, but a generalization through the whole community is not getting, I don't think it's getting that same message that we are. I mean, even looking at the team sports teams, sports professionals and lower down the amateurs, talking to Wakefield Trinity ladies, the football, they're not doing their activity levels that they would be, because like you said, motivation is not there, the eagerness isn't there. It's like, well, what's the point? We're not going to have to play for X amount of months. But I think we're getting to that cusp point now where they're beginning to think, and the mindset is changing of people, and I hope that a little bit more in the media is going to change that message. And obviously having conversations publicly like this, making people aware of that, it's so important.
Well, just like Ali said, the news is changing. Professor Sean Duffy, clinical lead for West Yorkshire and Harrogate Cancer Alliance, gave a live presentation, so to speak, a snapshot, to let everyone know that is a revolving door. So people can be treated for cancer and not be afraid to come forward.
Mm-hmm.
There's been such a drop in people attending appointments. That NHS is a godsend for us all, and we need to protect it. We need to use it. All I'm seeing on Facebook at the moment is pictures of food. Everyone seems to be saying, all I'm doing is eat. What's your meal plan like at the moment, Lynne?
Quite good, actually, I think. I bought a little, because you can't pop out to the shops as and when, it didn't really matter much to me if I didn't have something in, because I could pop out and get it. But now I've actually taken to doing a menu board. I'm very organised. I have my little weekly menus, like breakfast, lunch, and supper, and it's all done out. And my husband rather likes it because he sees what he's eating for the whole week. He gets, well, Thursday looks good, So, but yeah, and making sure that. But then again, I've always done this is that we either have a salad or a soup every day. So I'm getting lots of vegetables, but then I like them as well. So, but yeah, I do think we're eating healthier, albeit possibly a lot more. A bit scary, really. So trying not to wear my gym gear that all day, every day. It's very easy to wear because it's comfy, but it's stretchy. So, the elastic's going in it. It's a bit scary.
So it's been a week since you went in for surgery, and
Yeah.
I do believe that you were back exercising this very week. Is that right?
I did my very best. Yes, I did my very best. The leg ones were okay, but the arm ones went out the window a bit. So, but yeah, even just to even if you couldn't quite do the 26, even if you could do 10, it's better than doing nothing. Yeah.
We've got a 26 challenge going on at the moment, haven't we, Emma?
Yes. Yeah, we have, yeah.
And I'll never, ever be able to do a sit-up, ever. I know you said put your feet under the chair. Well, I nearly pulled the chair over, so I thought, well, it's going to work. I just cannot do one.
My mission then this year is to get you to do a sit-up. That's what I'm going to
never. I get my head off the floor and that's it. I think my shoulders are weighted down, really, because nothing moves. I go, no, I can't do that. No good at all.
Though, I mean, the point we need to reiterate is that you've had surgery a week ago. So, I mean, the fact that you were even contemplating exercising is fantastic, and you should be commended for the fact that you gave it a go. I mean, we tried to put the leg things in because we thought you'd be able to do that, which is exactly the point. Because getting moving is really useful, and moving the lymphatics and getting the blood supply to the area, helping the body repair faster. But a lot of people wouldn't necessarily take that mindset. So I mean, I think it's fantastic that you gave it a go. Even if you can't manage a sit-up, it doesn't matter. But the whole idea of the challenge was that it was a challenge, and everybody felt that it was tough and it was supposed to be. And obviously, everybody did as much as they could within their own capacity. That's the point. But when I make Wakefield Trinity Ladies Football do this, they have to they will have to do it in complete. But I mean, no, I completely take my hat off to you then, because that when I had my op, a week after was in the gym, and everyone thought it was mad. But I wasn't doing things I couldn't do. But it is really important to keep moving, especially because you are more restricted now than normal.
Yeah. And it also kind of just doing things like exercise and walking, and it makes you feel normal, because if you have been, you've got cancer, all of a sudden it's just doom and gloom. And I prefer not all and sundry knowing, because they can be negative. You know, I'd rather not have that, because I think you're negative enough in yourself, you know, whether you admit it or openly or not. I think people are negative within. There cannot be anything but that, because it's a frightening prospect, but it's more frightening to do nothing about it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, you need to take that worry away and deal with it. And I feel quite lucky and fortunate enough that if I was going to get it again, I think I got it at a good time, because the hospital was just amazing. I was in and out and seen to and looked after and cared for, in the cleanest hospital in the world, I might add. I've never seen anything as clean. They were just amazing. So, no, I wouldn't hesitate, really, if anybody's undergoing any treatment and has found anything in any shape or form. You need to get it dealt with. You know, you really need to get it dealt with. Yeah.
I think that's the biggest message we can all take away from today. And from a mental health point of view,
Yeah.
you're less stressed now by doing something about it, but you're spending a lot of time giving back in your own way to the NHS, aren't you?
Well, yeah, I've enjoyed making my scrub bags and my headbands, and yeah, it's been fun. You do feel part of the community, and it gives you a little bit of a buzz, really. Like, you know, you've done something, you know, and because normally when you tell people you're a quilter or a sewer, they sort of go, oh, I think they feel a bit sorry for you, really. Sorry for the person that sews, you know. And I think, yes, you're not sorry now.
So you've had a bit of therapy and you've felt good about
Yeah.
giving back.
Yeah, I'm on the map. Although I did get asked this week to make a teddy bear. I thought, come on, okay, maybe isn't it? I might have a go at that now. So the last one I did, though, turned out like a ballerina. Shame. I put his legs on wrong.
I've seen
Never
it.
mind. Not great. Look, he's here with me now. Look, I keep him with me. Look, my little bear. Oh, bless him. Oh, dear.
Oh dear. I suppose my next question then would be, you've got this far, you're very proactive with what you're doing yourself. I think, would you normally have a kind of a system of appointments to see physios and outpatients appointments after something like this? Is that going to happen? Do you have an alternate in have they put that in plan for you?
No?
Okay.
I think what's happening is stage by stage, isn't it? So you'll find out your results, and
Yes.
then from
Oh,
there
yeah.
there'll
Yeah.
be a care
Oh,
plan
yeah.
in place.
Yeah, beg your pardon. Yeah, it was. I'd get the results, and then, dependent upon what they are, then we would take it from there, which makes sense to me. I mean, I don't want to be thinking about what's going to happen if wait and see first, you know, because I'm a great one at imagining things. I have a good imagination, so no.
And
Then I'll deal with it.
you've so much to look forward to as well, haven't you? Your daughter's going to be getting married.
She is, yeah. Listen, should have been September, but that's not going to happen now. So it will be next July. So,
And by that time you'll be doing sit-ups.
That's a promise.
More to look forward to, obviously.
okay.
And we will all lose weight to help you get into that special dress.
Well, I'd lost weight, and I thought, oh, I'm doing really good here. Then went to America and ate rubbish, but didn't particularly put on weight because I think I did so much walking. You know, so much walking, and but anyway, as I say, you know what? I'll wait. I'll wait. So I'm eating healthy though, but you just I don't know. I bake now. I've just made banana muffins. Well, there's only two of us, so you have to eat them. So But they're kind of healthy. They've got bananas in, I thought.
It's one of your 5 a day.
Exactly. That's fairly healthy. Big banana muffins. So, yeah, that'll do. And I'll take them round to my mum because she's in the next street. I was taking her like a afternoon tea,
Bless.
walk around there. Yeah, so. But yeah, life is good. And I'm really thankful and pleased that it's over and done with. It seems to have gone so quickly, actually, you know. And once I've got these delightful green stockings off, I'll be a new person. This has been the worst. Trust me.
You'll
Wearing
love
these things.
wearing them again. I know you will.
They're very fetching, aren't they?
I've got my
I've got mine. I love them.
I've got my pedal pusher things on, and I pull them over the top. I look like I'm going to play golf, like a pair of 4x4s or whatever they call 4x2s, or I don't know what they call. I'm ready for the golf club. Yeah.
No, I just want to say, Lynn, that I think you're amazing. Your attitude is great, and I think from what you've said about your experience with the NHS recently speaks volumes.
Oh, amazing.
You've just kind of put a lot of people at ease, knowing that regular surgeries are going back on, that people are being treated, and we might not hear it in the news, but there are campaigns out there to promote it and make people aware. So you're a credit, really. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and I think it's, you know, what you're talking about and being so open about it, Lynn, as well. It's very inspirational to hear you talking in such a positive way about the NHS, about your own journey, and about how you're helping yourself at home as well. I mean, I think brilliant, inspirational.
Thank you. I think as well, though, because I grew up in South Africa where you don't have NHS. And I know a lot of people, for whatever reasons, moan about the NHS, but you just don't know how lucky you are to have all that's available in this country here, and it's free. Well, it's unbelievable, really. And it's very fortunate to be in this position. So I, for one, am going to make the most of them, I think.
Are you getting your money's worth?
I am. I've got quite a bit wrong with me, but I'm getting my money's worth, so great.
So really, that's a message loud and clear to people that don't turn up for appointments. They're wasting a lot of money and a lot of time from some very dedicated staff.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Cheers, ladies.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye for now.